Ladies and gentlemen, start your engines and welcome to another episode of Wreckers or Checkers.
What's up, everybody? Welcome on in. As usual, it's your boy Travis and Mr. Coors Lightyear himself. Hey,
Happy early Mother's Day for all those mothers out there.
ooh, yes, yes. Happy Mother's Day. You got any big plans for the weekend, Danny?
I've got my mother-in-law at the house currently. She's
Nice.
out mowing the yard. She is a stud.
Wow, what a saint. You
Yeah,
you got a big yard
100%.
too. You got a big
Yeah,
yard.
I couldn't have won that in the lottery, so I'm living the dream over here.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. We both got good mother-in-laws.
Yeah. Yours can't really be beat either.
Yeah. Well, other than Mother's Day, we do have something kind of exciting this weekend going on. It's Kansas.
KC. KC. No, it's not KC Mo. It's Kansas City, Kansas. I almost went
I was
KC
gonna
Mo
say,
with it.
dude, don't try and be saying anything about Chiefs or something here. KC. This is just Kansas Motor Speedway. Uh, our favorite driver, Denny Hamlin, is really good here. So that
Yeah, we kind of hate his guts, but he's a killer driver, so we
he's so good.
respect him.
He's so good, You gotta respect him. Either way. Well, we got some recapping to do before we get into Kansas, but I am excited everybody's here. So let's get into the wreckers and checkers of the week from last week. It was a pretty exciting race in Texas.
It was a damn good Texas race.
Let's start with the wreckers. We kind of got the big one that we didn't get at Talladega.
Like
Uh,
6 times.
yeah. I think this was maybe the one with the most implications. It could have gone to a lot of different people here, but Bubba probably got wrecked by the 22 here.
Yeah.
He got pushed. Maybe didn't, maybe did. I don't know. It was hard to tell. 22 was right on him. Bubba got loose. Out he goes. Takes out Bowman, Allmendinger. There's a bunch of people caught up in this one. So you see the 4 car out there. Gregson got nailed too. It was a good one. I mean, there was a lot of these. I feel like this was the biggest, but there was a lot of people just getting loose and sliding on their own in Texas too.
Very
So
much so. And like you said, there's a lot of these that happen, but I agree that, I mean, when you have the 48 who is coming off of another subpar finish, finishing in the late 30s, who is a top 10 points car,
yeah,
like, and then, you get Bubba who is running hot as hell all year long, you know,
yep,
you get a couple of them wrapped up, and it just ruins some days for some drivers.
for sure. It wasn't like there was any one major big like nasty wreck or anything, but there was just a ton of this slipping and sliding. So, but that brings us to the checker of the week, and what do you know?
For our number one fan,
Our number
here
one
you
fan.
go. You've been asking about it. You've been praying that we talked about Joey. And here you go. Here's our
Here he
salute to
is.
Joey Logano. You finally closed out a top 5 finish, and you got the W.
Hell of a
Salute to you,
restart,
sir.
too. I'm going to say the checker move was the last restart. He just took the lead, kept it. Nobody could catch him because I guarantee you, if number one could have got to your bumper, you would have been seeing the wall, I think.
Yeah,
I think
definitely.
if anybody could have caught you, it wouldn't have been good. So it was good that
No.
Joey was fast for you Joey fans out there.
Joey would have got Hail Melon if Chastain could have got the bumper to him.
Oh,
Zero
absolutely.
doubt about that.
Absolutely. He was coming, dude.
Hmm.
I think Blaney helped him out a little bit there.
Yeah,
Blaney
definitely.
being the buffer there kind of helped Logano's case a little bit. But either way, he had a hell of a last restart there for sure. So we'll get into the full recap. So obviously, Logano taking the number one spot. Chastain and Blaney following that up. It was a nice restart there. Um, I was kind of I was kind of surprised that you had the order because I thought Larson was going to be pushing a little harder. I guess.
Yeah. Definitely.
And I thought Chastain might have had a little better shot to get out there with Joey earlier on, but Joey was fast at the end of that race.
Yeah.
So
Stayed composed all race long and ended up putting himself in the position to win.
yep. And as you can see in the top 10 here, Logano only led 7 laps. Blaney led 2. Larson led 90. But other than that, not a lot of laps led in the top 10.
The surprises are look at the Wreck and Ricky Stenhouse, the Austin Dillon with like his 3rd or 4th top 10 this year.
Yeah.
And then
But look
John Hunter Nemechek.
Legacy Motor Club. You got
Yeah.
Eric Jones and Nemechek, 2 in the top 10. That's big for them. Small team.
Shout out to Ryan Blaney for finally putting together a complete race and not
Hey.
getting hit with the gremlins this week.
Seriously. He looked good.
Yeah.
Joey just looked better at the end. That was
Yeah, definitely.
There was a time where, I mean, if you look at the starting positions for the top 3 cars, 27, 31, 24, all 3 of those guys
Right.
came from the back. They were working their way up all race long. So
Granted, those handful of cautions helped all these drivers out.
yeah, 100%. It was kind of funny to see, and honestly, I felt this similarly the last few weeks, how you see some random cars qualifying really well, but then the people we expect to finish top 10 are working their way through the pack. You know what I mean?
Right.
Qualifying doesn't mean a whole lot, it seems like, on a lot of these.
That's that proverbial race trim versus qualifying trim.
Yeah.
I know it used to make a difference. I don't know if it does in today's set car, but it used to be, you could set your car up to qualify or you could set your car up to race, and you'd see it in qualifying. There'd be a car that started 22 that would drive 22, 25, whatever, and qualifying did shitty and drive straight to the front because they had their car set up to race, not qualify.
Yeah, and well, a lot of it, you're handling, like it's so much different being the only car out there.
Definitely.
When it's just you out there running the fastest lap, yeah, you can set your car up, totally different.
Get some dirty air in front of you and see what happens.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Are you able to pass? And I feel like Blaney's been that way a lot, or maybe he's not qualifying the best, but his cars always seem to just be maneuverable. Like he's just working his way through the packs. But
yep. Yeah. Every week that's been his cup of tea, right? He's passed more cars than anybody in NASCAR all year long, and he just catches something somewhere in the race that completely bones him.
Well, but
throws his whole day out the window.
But that kind of goes hand in hand, right? If you're having to pass more cars, that's just more opportunity for you to get screwed, right? Like,
yeah.
So there is a different, there is something to be said there. Like, if you're always starting in the back, your chances of getting through clean are less.
Yeah.
But
the probability scale is not in his favor at that point.
No.
Whatsoever.
Even though we know he's got the talent to do it, it's, you're putting yourself in bad situations, so. 6 one, half dozen the other,
but shout out to the couple of those guys that placed top 10 for sure. Like I said, like the Stenhouse, the Dillon, the Nemechek,
even Suarez,
Jones, top 5. I'm sure that was a hell of a bet. We'll cover that in our future here.
We will.
I'm sure Jonesy was a hell of a top 5 finish.
Well, and just looking at the standings, we could probably go to the standings right now. Before we even look ahead, if we go to the standings here, not a lot of shakeup, but Bell did hang on to a top 10 at least, so he's not dropping a ton. But he hasn't done a whole lot in a few weeks.
Not since his winning streak went off, man.
No, I mean he had 3 wins, so the guy's set. But you know what I mean. He's something changed a little bit.
But to have 3 wins and not be leading in points, says something.
Yeah. He's records or checkers, maybe,
Exactly. Yeah, he's living true to the namesake.
But this week he was top 10, so I was kind of pointing him out because it was like, he did have a solid finish this week at least, or last week rather. It looks like Stenhouse moving up into this top 15 is pretty big. Busher kind of quietly number 12. That one's kind of surprised me. I don't, I look at these every week and I kind of forget about them, and then I come back to it, and I think multiple times this year I've seen Busher in the top 15 and been like, wow, I don't remember talking about him a whole lot in top 5 finishes or anything like that. I think he's winning stage points or something.
Low key, he's the best car at RFK. Love Bad Brad for what he's done for the sport, but low key, Chris Buescher is the top dog at RFK.
Yeah, no, I believe that. I think it's kind of the changing of the guard a little bit, maybe.
Definitely,
passing on some of that.
All he's got to worry about is driving, right?
Yep.
I think Brad's getting ran a little thin, getting a little long in the tooth, and it's starting to show.
Yeah, I mean, he's in the booth. He's doing other things. He's probably got other stuff on his mind.
No, I'm sure. I have no doubt about that.
He's not as hungry, right? I feel like some of these young drivers, they're hungry still.
Definitely.
But yeah, other than that, still seeing a lot of Hendricks and Gibbs and 2311s up in the
gotta love them Hendricks cars in the top 4. Gotta love it.
Sorry. At least they're Chevys. I'll give them that. All right, let's get into the preview for next week. I can't wait anymore. It's my favorite time of the show. Kansas.
All right.
Odds, baby.
Kansas Motor Speedway.
Well,
what do you like about the odds this week, Travis?
My favorite thing about the odds this week is that there are a couple things that I don't feel like Vegas has quite picked up on yet. And that is that Denny Hamlin is really good in Kansas. So
those 4 wins, most winningest driver at Kansas Motor Speedway.
That is right. So let me make it official. My lock this week is Denny Hamlin for a top 3 finish. Denny Hamlin has 5 out of 6 out of the last 6 races. 5 out of 6 top 5 finishes. He has 1 win in 2023, and his average finish here is 3.7 over the last 6 races. It doesn't get much better than that. It's only plus 250. I understand that. But if you're feeling spicy, take him for a win at plus 850.
Right.
My lock is Hamlin top 3, 250. But if you're feeling spicy, 850 is great for a win for Hamlin here.
Yeah. Especially when he's not the betting favorite, right? Like that, which is crazy.
Yeah. Yes. Another great point. I have a new thing for you guys this week. I'm going to give you a fade because I saw one this week that I got a fade. And all right. My fade this week is Tyler Reddick. He's the second best odds on the list at plus 650. Yet his average finish here over the last 6 races is 20.0. He has 1 win in 2023, and he has another top 10 in those 6 races. I think it was a 9th place. But other than that, every other finish for him in the last 6 races has been 20 plus. I don't love it. I don't hate Tyler Reddick here. Don't get me wrong. I don't hate Tyler Reddick here. I just hate Tyler Reddick at plus 650. That sounds ridiculous to me.
I feel like he lives to the wreckers or checkers lingo here.
A little bit, yeah. And it's been mostly wreckers.
Yeah, definitely. I will say, though, 2311 has won 3 out of the last 6. So it is tough betting against 2311 here.
Then give me Bubba at plus 2,000.
Yeah, right.
If you're sold on 2311, you want to make that bet, let's go plus Bubba at 2,000 then.
Honestly, I like Bubba at top 3 finish at plus 550.
Yep. Yeah, that's good. I like that as well. Yeah, my so I got a mid-range one here. little more mid. If you're feeling a little spicy, I like Ross Chastain. Shocker, right? Oh, shocker. Number one.
Yeah,
Number
yeah.
one.
Go
Oh, I
figure.
guess it's this side.
Homer.
Yeah, a little homer pick again. But let me sell it to you. Chastain plus 2,000 or plus 550 as well. Same odds as Bubba for a top three. 550 for a top three. Average finish over the last 6 races is 8.7. He won here last September. He has 2 top 5s and 4 top 10s out of those last 6 races. So 4 out of the last 6 he's finished top 10. And he's been building momentum from the last 2 races, in my opinion. Especially from last week getting second place. I feel like he's starting to come into his element a little bit. You see him running strong late in races now. So
Can't be mad at it.
That's where I'm going. I'm going that with the mid. Now, if you want to go for a long shot, and I mean a Hail Mary, we just talked about the guy. I'm going to say Keselowski. Plus 5,500. He's raced like crap here over the last 6 to 8 races. Ever since he's been racing for RFK. Has not raced well here. But he does have 2 wins here, and when he used to race for Team Penske, he actually did really well here. Like, overall did really well here.
Right.
So, plus 550, I like that. Also, if you want to take him for like a top 5 finish at plus 650, I feel like that's pretty fair too. Top 3 at plus 1,500. I feel like for a long shot, it's a pretty good payout on your money at plus 5,500. He has the experience to do it. If he has the car, if RFK can get him the vehicle to do it in, Bad Brad can make it happen. Here. Yep.
Definitely.
Yep.
I'm in a similar boat with you. I like all those picks, and like I said, I love the Bubba pick here at a top 3 finish. Another one that I absolutely love is Alex Bowman, top 3 plus 500.
Okay, yeah.
Alex Bowman, he's on a bit of a rough stretch, but in the last, he's got 10 straight top 10 finishes at Kansas. 10 straight. I absolutely love him for a top 3 or top 5 for sure, which I don't know what those odds are, but I know top 5 is plus 500.
Yeah.
So
top 3 is plus 500.
Or top 3 is plus 500.
Yep. So top 5 is plus 235.
I love that one.
Yeah.
I think this is a good track for Bowman to bounce back. And in my truthful opinion, it's the Hendricks cars versus the Toyotas this week. I don't think the Fords are going to show up. I think it's going to be a race between the Hendricks cars, Chase, Larson, Byron, Bowman, and Bell, Bubba, Hamlin, Reddick. I think it's going to be a who's who of the top 10 unless somebody wrecks or blows up. I think that's going to be most of your top 10 right there.
So you're saying Chevys and Toyotas?
Chevy and Toyotas. I think the Fords are going to have a rough week.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I could see Blaney or Logano sneaking one in though.
I could see them sneaking into the top 10. I don't think they're going to win.
Yeah, no, I get that. The other thing that crossed my mind betting wise was an Austin Cindric, like top 3 at plus 1,200.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Because I just feel like plus 1,200 for a top 3 is pretty good for somebody who's been running well this year.
Fair, very fair.
But yeah, probably not a bet I'll make, but it was one that definitely was on it piqued my interest, we'll say.
I will say my boy Chase is plus 1,200 for the W, and he's due. So just gonna throw that out there.
I looked. Yeah, Christopher Bell plus 1,200 as well.
Yeah.
Could he get a 4th race this year? I think he does. I bet he does.
He does. I think he does too, 100%.
Yeah.
Whether or not it's here, I don't know, but I think he gets it.
I could definitely see it. But and so Kansas Speedway. Run me through the track. Run me through what you know about it. Anything we should be
So
aware of.
Kansas Motor Speedway they broke ground in 1999. This is one of the newer tracks. It was built around the same time as Texas. Inaugural season was 2001. Capacity is about 48,000. We've got 17 to 20 degree banking in the corners, 10-degree banking in the front stretch, and 5-degree banking in the back stretch. One of the big perks to go into the Kansas Motor Speedway for us adults is there's an adjacent Hollywood casino right next to the NASCAR track that is also co-owned by NASCAR. And it gives a little luxury to go into a NASCAR race, right? One of the main reasons we love going to Vegas is we also get to do Vegas, right?
Hell yeah.
You go to Kansas, you can get a little bit of the Vegas experience, right? Go hit the casino, do your thing. So this track was built there was a big boom of oval tracks in the 90s, right? That's why Texas was built. That's why this was built. NASCAR was at peak performance in the 90s. I don't know if we'll ever see the peak of NASCAR like we were at in the mid 90s.
Yeah.
But they were looking for expansion. They're looking to build something similar to Texas. And originally they were looking to build in the Kansas City metropolitan area, and they ended up getting complaints about noise, similar to like what happened with the original plans for Talladega in South Carolina.
Right.
They got complaints about too much noise. People kind of said, no, this ain't going to happen. They found a lot of land a little farther away. We're able to sew it down, and it became a $250 million race car track.
Nice.
The inaugural race, the Rainbow Warrior, Jeff Gordon, took the checker flag in his peak dominance years. Lap records held by no other than Kyle Larson. Funny.
How many records does that guy hold? It's got to be a lot. It's got to be a lot.
And he set this one back in 2015. So he was still racing for Chip Ganassi back then. This was before Hendrick's time. 28.857 lap time here on a quarter mile or a mile and a half.
Jesus.
Denny Hamlin, the all-time win leader with 4. Joey Logano, not far behind. He's got 3 here. Kyle Larson, Bad Brad, as we talked about, and Kurt Busch have 2 wins here. And then old Ross Chastain, Chase Elliott, Tyler Reddick, and Bubba Wallace all have 1. So one thing I love about these newer tracks is we're not looking at them like, yeah, granted, I love the history in the old tracks, but we're not looking at it like Richard Petty and Dale Earnhardt and Jimmy Johnson. They mopped the floors with everybody here. We're seeing someone who's still racing, still competitive, that we have a good feeling can go out and win this race. They're the current leaders in wins here, right? Like all those names I just laid down are somebody that can be this weekend's winner.
Yeah.
It's not
other than Kurt Busch.
Right. Besides Kurt Busch. Happy Hall of Fame, sir.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. That it is true. You get these newer tracks, and it kind of gives these guys a chance to build a legacy within the current, era of NASCAR, which is cool.
Definitely. Like we started off the show, I do not like Denny Hamlin as a race car driver. I love his podcast. I can sit and listen to him talk. I think he's a scumbag on the racetrack.
Hey.
Yeah,
11 against the world, man. He doesn't care.
Exactly. He
doesn't
comment
care.
on our podcast, and I'd be like, sweet. You could tell me I hate you too, and I'd be perfectly okay with that.
Yeah. Yeah. Come dump on how terrible our podcast is. It'll be great.
Yeah. But
all news is good news.
That's right. No such thing as bad publicity.
Yep.
But that's about all I got. I mean, I didn't deep dive it too much because there really isn't that much because the history is not that long, right?
Yes,
But
it's a little different. No, that's good though. There's a lot of history to be made here. You know,
eh,
hopefully Chastain jumps up a level and we get another guy on the 2-win list. But
yeah, I'd take Elliott.
you know what? After you said all this, I just got to say this now. I feel like I kind of screwed up with not putting Christopher Bell on at a plus 1200 here as my mid range. I'm gonna say that. I'm
Yeah,
gonna say that now. Chris Bell, I'd look at him if you guys are thinking at all. I like it. I think Joe Gibbs gets him another win here. I don't know. It's
those Toyotas, dude. I'm telling you,
I don't know.
I'm a hard believer in the Toyotas this week.
Yeah.
Toyotas and Chevys.
All right. Well, shall we move on to the other news that's been floating around NASCAR this week?
Little around the track.
The pit pass. So I'm not a lawyer, but none of this sounds good.
So for those that haven't heard, 2311 and who is a Front Row Racing have been suing NASCAR over the past couple of months, and they were granted permission to race while this is going on. There's an antitrust lawsuit.
Yeah, there's an injunction, so they can
still
do it right now, basically.
Right. It's basically over what they're paying per charter, this, that, and the other. And it sounds like that's going to get overturned, which is not good for us as fans or 2311 or Front Row, because that means if it gets overturned, that means they can't run.
So how I understand all of this is, and correct me if I'm wrong, but like basically 2311 and Front Row Motorsports are saying pretty much NASCAR has a monopoly on what we can do, who we have to buy our parts from, where else we can race, where we can sell our name, image, and likeness stuff. Like they basically own everything we do, and then they restrict the hell out of us when we go and try and do something else over here because they pretty much own us, right?
100%. They called them on their bullshit, and they're standing on business.
Okay.
Michael Jordan ain't scared of shit.
No,
that's what's going on.
Okay.
Because Front Row is not leading the charge. Jordan's
leading this charge because he's like, I actually have a very successful brand, and I'd like to promote my other brand other places.
Michael Jordan's over there like, you realize my brand is worth more than yours, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I ain't gonna cater to you. You can cater to me.
Notice how I don't show up to the track with a NASCAR hat on, right?
Right.
It's a Air Jordan hat, buddy. It may say 2311 on the other side, but that thing's always got an Air Jordan on one side. Yeah.
But besides all the talk of the lawyer, and though we do got a couple other things. We got Chipper Jones and Joey Logano kissing and making up. Chipper Jones kind of took to Twitter after Joey's win and congratulated him and said, this is what we expect, which kind of a punk move. I don't know. Maybe Joey beat him up in between the weeks. I don't really know what happened, but
yeah, I think it all got blown out of proportion more than Chipper Jones probably thought it would from the original tweet.
I think so too. I think it did get way blown out of proportion.
And he came back and was just like, "Yeah, congrats! I think champion, act like one."
Because I think Chipper realized that when Joey came back and said, we're all competitive, I think that sunk in. Chipper was probably like, you're right. Yeah, I'd have called out one of my teammates.
Yeah,
the same shit.
You get it, like we were talking about Michael Jordan here, like on the Bulls, you got Jordan, you got Rodman, you got Pippen, if Pippen does something stupid and maybe costs them something, you think Jordan's not going to start spouting off about that? Maybe
everyone watched The Last Dance. We know all about that.
Exactly. Right? Like, teammates are going to have their competitive bouts.
Definitely.
We get this. So
it's a brotherhood, right?
Yeah. It's just, you got to be careful about when you're saying it how you're
Yeah,
saying it. It's just hard because these guys are recorded all the time on the track, right? Like your
definitely.
your audio is going out no matter what. So that's tough. But at the
The
end of the
last
day,
thing,
we understand.
the last thing for our around the track pit pass, I don't know if you caught it, but we are moving the championship race next year, 2026. We are leaving Phoenix and going back to Homestead.
No shit.
Yeah. It hasn't been there since 2019, from about, I think like 2005 to 2019, somewhere in that ballpark. We ran at Homestead for the championship race and
Nice.
have been at Phoenix since. We are going back to Homestead, which I hate because it caters to Kyle Larson.
So are we
Um,
still? Yeah, Reddick too.
yeah,
So are we still gonna do 2 races at Phoenix?
I would imagine. I think we'll do an early and a late race. I think what I'm guessing is going to happen is they're going to flop spots
Yeah.
in the playoffs to where it'll be a Phoenix playoff race and then championship at Homestead plus an early race.
Okay.
Is kind of what I'm expecting,
I
but who
like
knows until
this.
we actually see it,
I like this because I really want to go see a Phoenix race, a late Phoenix race, because I have family down there, and I've been wanting to go down there and stay anyway, and go check out. But it's so hard to get championship tickets down there. Like they
Right.
sell out so fast. I'm not the type of person who plans a vacation that far in advance, so.
Agreed. I do feel like we missed the boat on not going to see a championship while I was in Phoenix, though.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, granted,
Now we
I
can
look at
fly to
Phoenix
Miami though.
fair, but if I'm going to do that, I'm going to Speed Week at Daytona.
Fair. Yeah, that's
I
true.
mean, I do look at Phoenix as not a real exciting race though, so I feel like Homestead's would be a funner race to attend, but I
Yeah.
do still want to cross Phoenix off the list.
Yeah. No, that's true. All good points. At the end of the day, I do like the idea of it moving out of Phoenix because I do feel like Phoenix can be a pretty dull race.
Yeah, definitely.
Seems like
And,
one that
and from what I've gathered, they were kind of talking about doing it like at Daytona, but everyone was like, "Yeah, no, that's a bad idea."
yeah. Can't do a super speedway for the
No,
yeah.
like, yeah, great. So who of the 4 championship cars finished first while they were crashing?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I was gonna say, or all of them just get
Mm,
taken out in the big one. Yeah.
but
No, that's true. All right. Well, I think that's about all we got for you guys this week. Anything?
yeah,
Any wrapping up thoughts for you, Danny?
well, it's I don't really have many. All I want to do is say, God bless y'all. Keep the rubbers down. Records or checkers, baby, and happy Mother's Day to all you moms out there. Um, where are we going next week? I think we're at North Wilkesboro for the All Star race. Are we not?
Yes, I believe so.
I mean, we got the All Star race to look forward to, which is always exciting. We're back at North Wilkesboro. I think that'll be a great time. Um,
Short track
besides
racing,
that,
right?
I believe so. I'm not sure how big North Wilkesboro is. I don't think it's very big.
No, I think it's like a mile. If that. It's been a while.
Yeah, but
Regardless, we shall see you guys next week. We will recap this hopefully awesome Kansas race on Mother's Day, and we will look forward to the All Star race then.
that's right.
Thank you to everybody for tuning in. Happy Mother's Day, and as Danny says, keep the rubbers down, boys.